They had my car towed at 6 a.m. on a Tuesday morning without even asking what was under the cover. I'm coming home from a business trip to find a tow truck hauling away what they thought was junk. The HOA president is standing there with her arms crossed. That smug smile plastered across her face like she just rid the neighborhood of some eyesore. My neighbors watching from their windows like this is better than cable TV. The crunch of gravel under my feet echoes as I walk to my empty driveway. That's when I catch the scent of diesel fumes mixing with their expensive landscaping and the thick smell of their own arrogance. Let me back up and tell you how I ended up in this mess. My name is Marcus. I'm 48 and 6 months ago, I was going through the ugliest divorce you can imagine. 20 years of marriage down the drain and my ex-wife got the McMansion, half my retirement and custody of our 2 teenagers who barely looked at me anymore. So, there I was starting over in my late 40s. I needed something smaller, something that felt like home instead of a monument to my failures. That's when I found this corner townhouse in Willowbrook Estates, 847 homes, $800K to $2.30 million. But what really sold me? The 3-car garage. See, I had inherited something that needed proper protection. My uncle Raymond had passed away the year before, leaving me his pride and joy, a 1967 Ferrari 275 GTB. Now, Uncle Raymond was what you'd call eccentric. Brilliant businessman, but kept his cards close to his chest. He'd always tell me, Marcus, real value hides in plain sight. Most people see what they expect to see, not what's actually there. The Ferrari looked rough, faded paint, worn interior, but underneath was a numbers-matching museum-quality classic with maintenance records going back 30 years. That's when I met Diane Blackwell. Picture the most stereotypical HOA president you can imagine, then add a BMW X7, workout clothes she never sweats in, and a smile that could cut glass. 52 years old, married to Craig from pharmaceutical sales, 2 private school kids because public education just isn't what it used to be. Day 3 after moving in, knock on my door, there's Diane with that fake sweet smile. Welcome to the neighborhood. Just wondering about that vehicle situation in your driveway. I explain it's a classic car temporarily covered. Her smile tightens like a wire point. 2 weeks after our little doorstep chat, I get a certified letter in the mail. Emergency HOA board meeting, 48-hour notice regarding community aesthetic concerns. The meeting location, Diane's house. The night of the meeting, I pull up to her house. One of those cookie-cutter colonials that screams peaked in high school. Inside, she's got this whole kangaroo court set up. For board members behind her kitchen island like they're the Supreme Court. One lonely chair facing them for me. Marcus, Diane begins sliding a manila folder across the counter like she's revealing classified intel. I reach into my briefcase and pull out my own folder. Inside, every page of the Willowbrook HOA covenants, highlighted, annotated, and cross-referenced. Show me the specific violation, Diane. She blinks. The other board members start shifting like kids who didn't study for the test. I flip to section 4.27. Covered vehicles allowed up to 30 days without board approval. Section 6.1.3 requires written notification before violation proceedings. Where's mine? Janet, one of the board members, clears her throat. Maybe we should table this pending legal review. Next morning, 3 piles of dog waste strategically placed on my lawn. Anonymous note in my mailbox. Trashy car for trashy people. But the real escalation started that afternoon. I'm returning from errands when I spot Diane showing a house 2 streets over. Normal real estate stuff, except I hear her pitch. Lovely neighborhood, but we do have some unfortunate new additions affecting the overall aesthetic. That's when it clicked. This wasn't about HOA compliance. It was about business. So, I did what any reasonable person would do. Went home and installed a comprehensive security system. That evening, I started digging through his old papers, really digging this time. And buried in a file marked, Willowbrook Development, 1987, I found something that made me sit down hard in my chair. Uncle Raymond hadn't just bought a car in 1967. He'd been busy in the real estate game, too. Much busier than I'd ever imagined. The documents were crisp, professional, and absolutely mind-blowing. Meridian Holdings LLC, incorporated in Delaware, 1985. Primary asset, 847 acres of farmland purchased in Fairfax County for $340,000 in 1987. Cross-referencing the corporate filings with my property deed revealed something that made my hands shake. Every single homeowner in Willowbrook Estates, including Diane Blackwell, was technically my tenant. Uncle Raymond had structured the development as a ground lease community. The land underneath every house, every street, every common area belonged to Meridian Holdings. Homeowners bought their houses, but leased the land through 47-year agreements. Every monthly HOA fee included a ground lease payment that went straight to Meridian Holdings, straight to me. Saturday morning, I'm sitting in my kitchen with Uncle Raymond's files spread across the granite countertop like a war room briefing. Time to assemble my team. First call, Maria Gonzalez, Uncle Raymond's estate attorney and now my secret weapon. Second recruit, Detective Jake Morrison from 3 houses down, retired Fairfax County, now my most valuable neighbor. Third team member, Sarah Chen, forensic accountant, and my ex-colleague from the tech days. Sunday evening, we're back around my kitchen table for the strategy session. Sarah's spreadsheet analysis covers my laptop screen like a road map to Diane's destruction. Systematic theft, she announces. Fake consulting payments, kickbacks from contractors, inflated maintenance fees, total embezzlement, $94,000 over 2 years. Jake slides his evidence folder across the table. Pattern escalation from verbal harassment to property damage to false legal threats. Any prosecutor would call this organized intimidation. Maria taps her pen against the lease termination documents. Ground lease violati. Here's where Uncle Raymond's real genius showed itself. I pull out Tommy Reeves's authentication report on the Ferrari. Classic car appraiser, ASA certified, 40 years in the business. Cars worth $2.1 million at auction. Tommy had written original invoice from 1967, $11,400. Your uncle bought a masterpiece and let everyone think it was junk. The psychological warfare potential was beautiful. Diane had been fighting to remove what she thought was trash, never imagining it was worth more than most people's houses. Ons include harassment of the landowner. Diane's desperation reached peak stupidity at 5:47 a.m. Tuesday morning. I'm awakened by the rumble of a diesel engine and the hydraulic whine of a tow truck backing into my driveway. Before you tow anything, I say, taking a slow sip of my coffee. Maybe you'd like to see what you're removing. I walk to the Ferrari, my hand resting on the car cover's corner. Since you're so concerned about property values. I pull the cover away in one fluid motion. The gasps that follow sound like a small crowd witnessing a magic trick. Holy hell, the tow operator whistles low. That's a real Ferrari. Diane's face cycles through confusion, shock, then mounting rage like watching someone's soul die in real time. It's beautiful, Marcus, Sarah Martinez breathes. How much is something like that worth? One of the husbands asks. I produce Tommy's authentication paperwork with theatrical timing. Restoration estimate puts it around $2.1 million. That's when I drop the first bomb. Diane, there's something else you should know. You've been trying to tow your landlord's car. 3 weeks later, the community healing meeting arrived with all the fanfare of a small town election. The meeting opens with Sarah Martinez, our new president, the kindergarten teacher who everyone actually trusts. When Sarah calls me to the podium for remarks, I begin. 3 weeks ago, we learned that assumptions can be very dangerous things. Today, I'm announcing the Raymond Chen Memorial Fund, named for my uncle's full name. $2.3 million in accumulated ground lease funds will establish an annual scholarship program for local high school graduates pursuing engineering and business degrees. 6 months later, Willowbrook Estates graces the cover of Virginia Living magazine as a model HOA community.